Hi, I'm Paul, the GI Tri Coach, and welcome back to the Keto Lounge. So far, the Keto Lounge has really been talking about the potential benefits of a ketogenic diet, but I did promise to discuss those foods that are good for you and you should be encouraged to eat, and those perhaps that you should avoid. So tonight I've got a very high-level overview of some examples, and I'm surrounded by props, hence I'm a little further away from the camera than usual. And hopefully in the blog below you can see the red, amber and green list, or at least a link to it, that comes from this book, The Real Meal Revolution. There has been a revision to this and a second book that incorporates intermittent fasting, which isn't something I'm proposing to talk about right now, but something you may choose to consider in the future. So let's just take some foods that the public opinion has certainly labelled over recent years, some of them. I'm going to just start with breakfast cereal. I've got a bowl here with muesli in it, a well-known brand. Most of you will be familiar with it. I don't know if you can tell, but that's 100 grams. The reason I put that in there, it looks like to me like a portion that someone might choose to eat. Quite alarmingly, that particular bowl of cereal has 63 grams of carbohydrate, and it's labelled as the no added sugar variety. Of course, big food and cereal manufacturers are very much a central part of that. They're getting on this low sugar bandwagon as well. They still want you to keep buying their products regardless. This low sugar or no added sugar option is actually only 3 grams less than the original. So you need to be really careful about how you read labeling or packaging, at least, and marketing, and ensure that you're getting what you think you're getting. The next prop is a pint of skimmed milk. That's something that people have been encouraged, it seems, to switch to skimmed and have a low-fat option in recent years. In fact, this skim milk has got 4.9 grams of carbohydrate, all sugar, in it, compared to full-fat milk of 4.3. Not a lot of difference, but what they're adding in here is an artificial stabilizer, which is a sugar alcohol, to replace the fat, so that it doesn't just turn to a kind of watery mush. That's not actually good for you. You can't digest it very well. So a strong recommendation for a ketogenic diet, if you are not lactose intolerant, would be to drink whole milk. The next thing, low-fat yogurt, raspberry and cranberry, Muller Lite. Been around for quite a while, this brand. Certainly a strong part of that kind of low-calorie, low-fat type of dieting. This has got 7.8 grams of sugar in it, compared to just 3.7 in a natural full-fat yogurt. One of favourites over here, somewhat controversial for some people, spoilt pig, dry cured, unsmoked back bacon. Is that healthy or unhealthy? Should you be eating it? Well, the ketogenic approach certainly suggests you could, and a solid staple for breakfast time, bacon and eggs, is a great way, and people who've not experienced a keto diet before tend to gravitate toward bacon and eggs. A word of warning, you do need a bit of variety, so please keep that in mind. Later on, when we get back in the kitchen and I start showing you some options to keep your diet varied, we'll probably be looking at a few alternatives for breakfast, because you can, believe it or not, get tired of bacon and eggs pretty quickly. Here's one. It's a can of baked beans. That has got an astonishing amount of 52 grams of carbohydrate per can. It's actually labelled 1 of your 5 a day. 19 grams of sugar in it. Baked beans, you see them often looked at as a healthy option, poured over a baked potato, for example. That's really a double whammy of carbohydrate, and certainly not helping you if you struggle to maintain your weight with this kind of high carb modern lifestyle diet that most people subscribe to at the moment. The last 2 things I want to show you are a bunch of grapes that you might see on a convalescing bedside table. 17 grams per 100 grams of grapes is sugar. Very high, almost as high as some confectionery, compared to something like strawberries or blueberries that are down in that 7 to 9 grams range. So if you're going to have fruit, berries are probably a better way to go than something like grapes. More detail obviously is available on the more extensive list that I've included in the link below. Finally, the firm favourite. This is unsalted butter. I've not chosen that for any specific reason, other than I prefer it for some dishes that I don't want a savoury flavour, particularly like a banana pancake recipe that I'll share with you at some point. So that's the summary really. Perhaps some of those things will surprise you. Things to stay away from really if you're trying to lose weight: breakfast cereal, skimmed low-fat products, baked beans, fruit, particularly certain kinds of fruit. But what you can start to consume more of are things like bacon with saturated fat in it, and butter, again, saturated fat. That phrase has been much maligned over the recent years, wrongly so, and in future episodes of Keto Lounge, we'll talk about saturated fat and how your body processes that compared to something like trans fats that you're going to find in cakes and biscuits that have been commercially produced. So that's all for now. If you like what you see and you want to hear more about it, keep watching and encourage other people to subscribe to GI Tri Coach and the Keto Lounge.